Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to create an iOS plugin to save unencrypted data inside the documents directory, as well as encrypted data using secure enclave and HMAC signing for Godot game engine. So we will be looking into both the ways. Let's get started. So firstly, as usual, what I have done is that you will require a Mac OS for this with Xcode installed. I have already installed Xcode, so I don't need to worry about that. And if you have not installed Xcode, you can download it from the Apple App Store. Now I am inside the Godot. So here I have just created one folder named Godot. You can name it whatever you feel like. Now the reason why I have created this folder, because there will be multiple projects inside this particular folder, which I will tell you as we go along. But yeah, that's the only reason why I have created this folder. Now if you just open Xcode, I think Xcode is taking a bit of time to open it on my device. In the meantime, we can just open Godot game engine, which should be pretty quick. So here is our Godot game engine open, and I can just create a new project. I will navigate to the empty Godot folder which I have created over here, and I will just name it as my Godot project. You can name it whatever you feel like, it's up to you. So I'll keep things simple. I'll click and create and edit. Okay, so our Xcode is also open. Let's just wait for, yeah, okay, so my Godot project is created over here. We'll come back to this later on. In the meantime, you can just open Xcode, and here you can select file, new, and here you can click on package, and here you will select multi-platform. Here you will have to select library. Here you can click on next again, and here go to your Godot folder again. So this is my Godot folder. I will name the library as my library. You can name it whatever you feel like, but do remember this name, because we will be using this name in lot other places as well. So it's up to you. If you are doing this for the very first time, just follow what I'm doing. That's what I would suggest. I'll just click on create. Also, at the time of me recording this video, I'm using Godot 4.3.0, but I don't think there will be any breaking changes as such in the future. So yeah, feel free to use whatever is the latest Godot version you are using, but at least use Godot 4.3.0. That's my recommendation. Next, we'll have to go through this particular, open this particular URL. So once we open this URL, it will show all the documentation for us on how to proceed things ahead. So we have already done this file new package. We don't have to do this, so we already done this. So the next thing which we have to do is we have to add this dependencies section, which you can see over here. Now this is sort of a cheat sheet which I have created, so don't get too much confused about this. So I'll just copy this, which again is in the documentation. It's just that I'm more comfortable with my own copy pasting. So after our products, we just have to paste this particular bit of code and just do Command S. It will automatically download this particular dependency inside our library. So if you concentrate on the left hand side, here you can see it has automatically downloaded it for us, so we don't have to worry about it. That might take a little bit of time if you are doing it for the very first time, maybe 5 to 10 seconds. Then we have to add this platform iOS 17. If I just scroll down, here you can see they have added macOS, but we can just add iOS, and we will just add it over here. I've kept the minimum version as 17. I have tried with version 15. This Swift Godot was throwing me an error. That's why I'm using version 17. You can try it with 16 if you want to. Then we also have to add this type dynamic. So again, I have this over here. So I'll just come over here, name. I will add this type dynamic. Okay, then scroll down again, and we have to add this particular thing, dependency Swift settings. So again, I already have this, so I'll just copy this. Okay, and here we just have to add one comma, enter and paste it. Then I'll just do Command A, Control I to improve the indentation a little bit. You don't have to do this. Again, just press Command S if you want to. Okay, so this is done. Then we'll at least at the time of me recording this video, Swift Godot does not support Swift version 6, so I will be using Swift 5.10, which again is fine, no big deal, because Swift version 6 has a lot of concurrency new features, but we are not really depending on concurrency in this particular case. So I will just change this version to 5.10 over here. Again, just do Command S. Once that is done, you have to go to this particular URL okay, before that we'll actually have to write the code. For that we'll have to go to this particular file called my library. Now I have already what you can say created one sample project just before recording this video, which already have the source code, and I will be copying it from that because I'm not really good at this. So I will just open this particular file, I'll copy the code and I'll paste it over here. So firstly, let's go step by step. We are importing UI kit, we are importing Swift Godot. Then this is boilerplate code which you have to write every time you are integrating Swift Godot. So again, this should be your own library name, so be careful with this. Also, if you are seeing lot of errors in this code, this is fine because Xcode does not play nicely with Swift Godot, so don't get too much worried about that. Then here I have created one class called my library annotated with @Godot, and it is extending ref counted. Then here I have created a signal. I'm not really using this signal. If you want, you can keep it because all the operations which we will be doing are synchronous, so we don't really need a signal for this. So but if you are curious, you can use a signal. I don't really need this signal, but I just wanted to show it to you. Now we are storing data in the documents directory, right? Apps document directory. So for that, this is the URL. Okay, ignore this secure enclave manager as well as HMAC data sign manager for now, because this is used for encrypting and storing and reading encrypted data. For the first let's concentrate on unencrypted data, because not every time you want encrypted data, right? So here you can see I have created a method called save unencrypt data. It takes some string data and returns a boolean whether the data was saved or not, and I have also annotated it with @callable. The reason is because we need to call this method from GD script side or from Godot side, and all you need to do is, now instead of string you can also pass complex data, but you will have to stringify it either on GD script side or on the Swift side. Again, just for simplicity sake, I'm just taking normal string data. Then we have to convert this data to a Swift data. So Swift data is a different data type. So here that's what we are doing it over here. And once we have that, we just do save unencrypted data, which I have created another method. So this is just save unencrypt data, this is save unencrypted data. Okay, which is a method which I have defined at the bottom, which I'll show you. We just pass the data to it, we just pass the file name to it, and if the data is saved successfully, we return true, else we return just false over here. And we are using do try catch. This is how you do try catch inside Swift. Then this is for reading unencrypted data. So here you can see, again I'm calling this method which I have defined at the bottom, which I will show you shortly. Here I'm passing the file name as well, and here we whatever we get the data in the data format, which is a Swift data type. Okay, then we have to convert it to string, so that's what I'm doing it over here. In case the conversion fails, I'm just returning empty string, and in case of catch as well, we are returning empty string. We'll come back to this methods later on. So this is the method which I was calling inside, so I'll just move this at the top so that you guys can understand it better. So if you see, we were calling this particular method over here. So yeah, that's what we are calling. So we are passing our data, we are passing our file name as well, and here it just calling throws. That's why we are using do try catch over here. Here we again get our file path, so whatever is the file name you have passed, by appending to our documents directory, and whatever URL you have, we are just writing data to that particular URL. Similarly, for loading unencrypted data, we just get the file name, file path, and then whatever is the data which we get, we convert it to the data type and send it return it back. So that's what we are doing over here as well. So yeah, that's it. Now coming back to the encrypted data part. So for that we have to create first two files, the Swift files, HMAC data sign manager as well as secure enclave. Now to be completely honest with you, I don't understand all of this. I will simply show you guys the code, and it's up to you, to go through the documentation. I don't really understand all this cryptography stuff. So all you have to do is just right click, new empty file, and just name it as secure enclave manager. I'll just copy all this code which I have. Sorry, not, I don't want to Android Studio. I'll just paste it over here. I'll come back to this in a bit. The next file which we want is this hmac data sign manager, and here we will create another Swift file, hmac data sign manager, and again I'll just copy this uh, and I'll paste it over here. Now first coming back to secure enclave manager. So before that, we require the iOS bundle identifier. It's not necessary to use the iOS bundle identifier over here. It's just a good practice. So what we can do, we can go to our Godot project, go to project at the top, export, add iOS, click on fix import. You will have to add your app store team id. Now I will enter it later. In case if you don't know how to get your app store team id, I will just show you this. I'll just close all this. Okay, so you can go to this particular URL. It will tell you how to get your app store team id. So make sure you get your app store team id, and here we will just add one bundle identifier. So com dot my nobody. It is typically dot what the bundle identifier format is, com dot your company name dot your app name, but this is just a debug app which I won't be deploying it to app store, so it's fine. So I will just use this. I'll press enter. Okay, I'll close this. Make sure you enter your app store team id. Then I'll just paste it over here. Okay, the bundle identifier. Now I'm not going to explain this. I'll simply scroll through this. Feel free to pause the video wherever you feel like and just copy the code. I'm not really good at this, so okay, I'll simply scroll through this. Okay, so that's it. Not huge lines of code. It's at least it is only 70 lines of code. And next is hmac data sign in manager. Again, here I will just paste our bundle identifier, and here I am writing crypto kit as well as foundation. Again, I'm not explaining this. I don't know all this. I've just copied it. Actually, just to give credit, I've copied this from a guy, from a YouTuber called Xcoding with Elfian. So yeah, shout out to him. From there I have copied this code. So yeah, that's it. Again, this is also 80 lines of code. So yeah, so yeah, that's it. Next, coming back to our library. Now if you see over here at the top, we are like creating objects, or what you call it in Swift, I don't know, but in Java we call it creating objects, or creating instances of secure enclave manager as well as hmac data sign manager, so that we can use it. Once we do that, if I just scroll down here, sorry, here you can see I have created another method called save encrypt data, which takes data in string format and we convert it to data type, and this called the save encrypted data method, which I have shown shortly. Here we just pass our store data as well as our file name, and here we just return true, here we return false, and here we return false again in case if it doesn't work out. And for read encrypt data, we just pass the file name called load encrypted data, and here we just convert the data to string format, and in case if it is not able to convert, I'm just returning empty string as well as over here. Now this is the save encrypted data. So here we are passing the actual data type, and here we firstly encrypt our data using secure enclave manager, then sign that data over here, then get the file URL, and then just write that data to this particular file URL. Now for loading encrypted data, we again create our file URL, we sign the data, we get the signed data, then we get the private key, then we validate that data, we decrypt the data, and then return it back. So yeah, that's what this all code is all about. Okay, once this is done, let's see what's the next step. Okay, so the next step is we'll have to go to this particular URL over here. So again, shout out to this guy as well, Stefan. He has helped me a lot. Now we need to create this build.sh file. Now I always mess up creating this build.sh file from Xcode, so I'm not going to create it via Xcode. What I'll do is I will open the Godot folder which we have entirely inside VS Code. You can use whatever editor you feel like. We just need to create a file, so you can also use Notepad if you have. So yeah, it's up to you. So here we'll go to our library. Here we just create one file called build.sh, and here I'll just copy the entire file, entire piece of code from over here and just paste it over here. Then I will just go at the top, and here I will just name it as whatever is your library name. In my case it is just my library. Okay, and also I need to do one more thing. I just need to add this dash script skip macro validation slash. This is because when I was trying to build this library, it was throwing me an error, so Stefan told me to add this. Even I don't understand all this. So yeah, these are the two things which you have to do: the scheme name as well as skip macro validation. Then we can just open our terminal. So I'll just close this particular file as well, and here we just have to first cd to our library. So I will just cd to our library over here, and I'll just paste this particular command. Once you paste this command, you also need to run this particular command. Now I am not deploying my app to Apple App Store, so I can only generate the debug framework. But if you are deploying, you also need to really create the debug release framework as well. So instead of debug, you can write release, but for me it's not necessary. I'll just generate the debug framework. So I'll just run this particular command. Now this will take little bit of time to run, so let it do its thing. In the meantime, we can come back to our Godot project. We'll create a 2D scene, and here we will just create 4 buttons. Okay, I will just duplicate this. I will create another button as well. I'll duplicate this. I'll create another button, and I'll duplicate this. I'll create another button, and here I will just name it as save unencrypted. Name of whatever you feel like. Okay, I'll just quickly save this this scene as well. Go to the second button, and here it will be read unencrypted. Okay, third button would be save encrypted. Sorry, what is this? Save encrypted. I'll just save it, and last button would be read encrypted. And here I will also add one more label. Okay, and here I will just create this particular label over here just to display the data. I'll just save this, and I'll also change the font size for each one of them to maybe 40. Theme overrides font size 40. Okay, I'll quickly save this. Make sure you save every single time, because Godot I think does not offers automatic saving, and maybe while exporting your project iOS project from Godot, you might not have saved something, and you might be figuring out why it is not working for you. So what I'll do is I'll just attach one script to this, and now I will just go to each and every button and add a press listener to all the buttons which we have. So I'll go to button 3 as well. I'll add over here. I'll go to button 4 as well, and I will add a click listener over here as well. So all this is done. Then I will also add a reference to our label. So I've added that. Next, again, like I'll cheat a little. I'll go back to my practice project because it has that. Just a second now. This is my Godot project, and here we will have to go to. You don't have to go to this. So firstly we'll have to create one variable called my library. So I'll just come over here and I'll paste it over here. Next, you inside the onReady we have to initialize our library. So that's what we are doing over here. So I'll just save it. So this is our library name, so you'll have to change it over here as well as over here if you have given some different library name. And on button press we just have to write call whatever methods we have defined over here, right? So for first button press, it is saving unencrypted data. So this is the data which I'm passing, but you can pass whatever string you feel like, and then I'm just displaying the boolean value inside our label. Similarly for second button press as well, I'll just copy this and I'll paste it over here. Okay, so this is for reading unencrypted data, and once I get the data back, I'm displaying it inside our label. Third one is for saving the encrypted data. Again, I'll just paste it over here, and I pass our data to this, and I convert it to string format str, and just display it our label because it is a boolean value. And the last one is for reading encrypted data. I will again copy paste this over here, and once I have the data, I can just display it inside our string data. Okay, so this is done. There is one more thing which we have to do inside our Godot project. Now if we are creating one folder, if you are comfortable, just create that folder from Godot game engine. I'll just create it from VS Code. So we have to create a folder called bin inside our Godot game engine over here. So I'll just create that bin folder, and inside that we have to create a file called whatever is your library name .gd extension. So I will just do that over here. Now the reason I have created by VS Code, if you see this file from Godot game engine, I'm not able to open this file. Maybe there is some workaround, I'm not sure, but that's why I'm using VS Code. It's just more painless, I guess. Then I'll just copy this entire thing and I'll paste it over here. So here you can see I'm using the debug framework, right? That's why I'm using debug over here as well as over here. But if you're using release, make sure you use release as well. Now if I come back to my terminal, here you can see this command was also successfully built. So what I can do is I will just go to my Godot folder. I can go to my library, I can go to bin iOS, and I'll just copy these two frameworks. I'll go back to our Godot game project. I'll go to bin and I'll paste it over here. Once that is done, I will create an iOS folder over here. Okay. Okay, then we just have to export our project. So what I have done is that if I just show you over here, I have created an empty folder called iOS over here as well. The reason is because once we export our iOS project from Godot game engine, it will create lot of files. So just for simplicity sake, so just go to project, export, make sure you have saved everything, saved your script. Oh sorry, one more thing, make sure you run it as well, because we need our current scene to be selected. Otherwise when we try to run it from iOS on iOS device, it will give error. So yeah, this is fine because this I have ran it on my desktop, so ignore this error. Then you just have to go to project, export. Yeah, here you will just have to click on export project. Here you will have to go to iOS folder, and here you just have to click on save. So let it export. This will take little bit of time, so yeah, just be patient. Once this is done, I'll come back. Okay, so as you can see, my export was successful. Now I can just go to the iOS folder which we had created, and just double click on this .xcode proj file. It will automatically open it inside Xcode, and you will have to run this on a real device. It will not work on the simulator because of that all that Vulkan stuff which I don't really understand, which is from Godot. Also, I'll just mirror my device. Give me a second. Okay, so I'll just first show you guys the output, and later on I also show you how to check whether the data was properly encrypted or not encrypted. So suppose if there is some other app which you have installed, not from Apple App Store, but I mean it's also possible to decrypt apps which have been installed from Apple App Store, but I don't want to get into that. So first I'll show you guys the output. I'll just click on the save unencrypted. Here you can see it was true. Read unencrypted. Here you can see I was able to read that data. I'll just click on save encrypted. Here it was true. If I click on read encrypted, here you can see I was able to read that data. Now basically what I will do is here I want to check whether this data was really encrypted or not. So for that you can just go to window, you can go to device and simulators, and here you will have to select your project. So this is my project, right? So I'll just select it and just click on this particular button, click on download container. Just save it to, yeah, wherever. I'll save it to the Godot folder just for simplicity sake. I'll go back to my Godot folder. Here is our data. So just right click, and here you can just show package contents. Click on app data, click on documents, not documents, I guess it should be in library. Let's see, save application state. Okay, even I forgot where exactly it is saved. Yeah, this the reason why I forgot is because this particular structure is different from what we typically get in native iOS, because Godot game engine has its own structure. I think it should be in documents, I guess. Shader. Not able to see it. This is our app data, right? What is, yeah. So I'll just go to app data, documents. Is it over here? We should see a file name my file, because that's the name which we have given. Maybe I'll try searching for it. My file. Not sure. Wait, let me check what bundle identifier I gave. So it was com.mynobody.myapp, right? Okay, I downloaded the wrong one. Sorry about that. I'll just select this. This was the bundle identifier. I'll click on this. I'll click on download container. Again, I'll just go back to the Godot folder over here. I'll click on save. Let's come over here, Godot folder. Okay, now I have two things. Okay, yeah, this one, first one, show package contents. Go to app data, go to documents. Yeah, here is our file. So if I just try to open it inside text edit, here you can see the file data was encrypted, because we are using the same file name for both unencrypted and encrypted data, right? That's why once you try to save the encrypted data, the unencrypted data gets overridden. So be careful with that as well. So hopefully you got the point. You can check for unencrypted data in the same way. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.